Hello viewers, here is the Vtech i5871 5.8 GHz digital broad spectrum cordless telephone. This is kind of an unusual model. I have been aware of its existence for a while, but I never really took a whole lot of interest in it because I'm not really into these real sleek, thin, slim kind of things. I prefer something that's a little bit heavier and more durable. I don't think this model got too much attention over the years. I believe it was very expensive at the time, and so it probably just didn't sell very much. You can pause the video and read the features that it has. Oh, it's just in a different language. So I suspect that the operating system is very similar to that of the color screen 5881, whatever the model number is, I don't remember. Claims to have quite a few features here. Expands to 7, which is pretty high. I think that would have been one of the highest ones that they offered at the time. I think even most of maybe one of the Panasonic systems went up to 8. I don't really remember now. Well, let's take a look inside and see what we have here. I guess the box opens from the top. Oh, that's kind of weird. Innovation beyond technology. Okay, so this is not technology anymore. This is beyond technology, whatever that's supposed to mean. Oh, cool. I think this was never used. So we have everything in here. We have the base. It's surprisingly heavy. The handset, which is also surprisingly heavy. And we have a compact disc, phone book manager for use with Windows. I don't know what version this is. Probably would be for Windows XP at the time. It just says for use with Windows. Additional ringtones and images are available on this CD-ROM. So definitely going to have to put this into the computer and see what kind of content that has on it. Okay, belt clip, AC adapter, battery, telephone cord. Okay, we've got the USB cord here. Interestingly enough, it looks like a standard. That is a standard shape. I don't know if it's a micro USB, I think is what it's called. For picture download. Belt clip, which is very long. Unfortunately, it takes one of these batteries, but this isn't the worst thing it could take. I was concerned that it would take some kind of a weird lithium battery. Now, this is only a 3.6 volt, 550 milliamps nickel cadmium. These are getting kind of expensive to find. They're hard to rebuild because they're a weird shape. An AC power cord, the ringer recording, which is just a, looks like a 3.5 to a 2.5 millimeter jack, which oddly enough is stereo. Telephone cord. I have a pretty extensive instruction manual here. which is all in one language. So that's just a lot of instruction. That's in Spanish. Yeah, it looks like the same operating system, or at least one that's very similar. And this is for the software. Okay, so this is this. Alright, so I'll have to do a video of this on the computer, but just to see if we can get it powered up and do a check out of it before we go on the computer and get all involved in that stuff. That's a whole other production to do that. Use the belt clip in this video. And the packaging is kind of cool because it's all, it's very compact, but it's very well laid out and it's simple. And there's not a lot of material waste here. It's all cardboard. Nowadays, all this stuff is just plastic. Too much stinking plastic all the time. Although this cover thing is kind of weird. I could do without that. I have to try to glue this back together. That should be easy. Alright. So the handset is super weird. The ergonomics are absolutely atrocious. This is the worst ergonomics thing I've ever seen. That's just terrible. It's not even rounded on the corners. That's ridiculous. The buttons have a kind of like a click feedback to them. They're not like regular membrane buttons. They're very small, but at least they're spaced out, so it's kind of easy to press them with accuracy. The USB cord headset jack. Going up and down. Yeah, the screen is extremely small. Can't be more than an inch and a half, if that. And the base, same thing. It's got the non-membrane buttons. Screen on the base it looks like it would have decent sized text. This is going to have really small text. Yeah, sometimes these old nickel cadmium batteries hold on for a while. So we'll give it a shot. See if it wants to work. It has been out of the phone all this time, so I think it has a chance of working. The nickel cadmiums, I find that they have a pretty good shelf life, at least to kind of work. The nickel metal hydrides I haven't had the best results with over a long period of time. Okay, that's plugged up and powered on. We'll have to remove this plastic thing off of here. Okay, so there's the operating system on the base here. It appears to be pretty much identical to that of the 5881. Buttons are the same sound. typical set of ringers. You got a reset on there. Delete handsets. So it does seem to have a pretty good operating system on it with all the options that you would want. Let's set this on there and see what happens. It's got an interesting charge light down there. It's not showing any signs of activity yet, but I'll give it some time and we'll see what happens. Okay, I just heard it emit the bass found tone, and it looks like the screen is on. There it is. Let's see, did it take a charge? Yeah, it did take a charge. Of course, that's not to say that the charge is going to last reliably, but for the moment the charge is there. And this operating system typically has been able to be used, or the handset rather has been able to be used with the thing on the cradle, so let's just experiment with it while it charges for now. So I've definitely seen this operating system before, and it's actually not the one from the 5.881 color screen. This is from a different model, one of the that AT&T model. I think it was the one that had that funny ringtone on there. Okay, these animations are different. Some of them are the same, some are different. Look at that old camera. Yeah, the text is really small on this phone. And there goes the charge. Oh, it seems like it has a lot of the same rings as the that other 5.8 GHz model. I can't remember what the number is. It was the one that didn't have any antennas on the outside. I think it was a Bluetooth one too. Well, I guess I'll let it charge up for a little while longer before we do anything else. Okay, it's been charging for a few more minutes. So, yeah, we can do a little bit more with it now. You have to adjust it with the size. Oh, that's an interesting ring. I've never heard that one before. It's like they're all just sped up to freak show speed. That's weird. It's got ringer, vibrate. The display isn't too bad. The colors seem kind of washed out to me, but I also can't see colors that well, so that may just be why. It's got a lot of photographs on there. Alright, well that's interesting. We're going to have to do multiple videos on this thing. We'll do a full, that video's going to be like 4 hours to do a full overview on this thing. We'll have to take a look at the software on the computer, and then we'll take a look at the performance. Something tells me this is very much a gimmicky kind of phone, and that the range probably isn't that great, the call clarity isn't that great, and they're mostly banking on the features to sell this system, which works for a lot of consumers, especially nowadays, but it doesn't work for me.